Well, hello everybody, and how is everyone doing today? I see we've got 7 people in. Anybody wondering why I'm covering my face? Maybe. Yeah, so the reason I'm covering my face is because this happened. The beard is gone. It's gone. I woke up one morning and it just fell off my face. No, it didn't. It's been about 12 years since I shaved my beard off, and I got bored one day and shaved it off. So, yeah, welcome to Babyface, basically. Right. Hello, everyone who's saying good evening. Good evening to Fix It Reselling, Bill Moons, Extreme Booters, DB Resells. Today, we've got a very special guest. We've got Stacey from Recovered Riches on today. He's a six-figure reseller. So, yep, it's going to be an interesting show. We'll give it a minute or two just to let a few more people come in, and then I'll bring Stacey on and we'll get straight into the show, basically. So, yeah, how is everyone doing this evening? Is it a little bit weird doing this on a Thursday at 7 rather than a Friday at 8? Yeah, it's a little bit strange for me. I was busy doing research and stuff for some auctions, and I looked down at the time and I was like, oh, yeah, so I'm going live shortly, so I better kind of sort something out. But yeah, okay. So I'm just going to move a few things over, and then let's bring Stacey in and give him a nice warm welcome. Right, so we're going to introduce Stacey from Recovered Riches. Hello, Stacey. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Thanks. Yourself?
Yeah, good, good, good. So, do you want to say hello to anyone or anything before we get into it, or should we just get straight into it?
Straight into it.
Yeah, okay, that's no problem. So we'll start off with Stacey, tell us your name and your business.
So I'm Stacey from Recovered Riches, and I got a online eBay business, which I started as a hobby and is now a full-time job.
Nice. When did you start doing it?
Um, I've been doing it on and off since I was about 18. So
Yeah, so it was in your blood all along then, basically.
yeah, but about 17 years, I think, give or
Yeah, it's
take.
nice. So, do you niche down on what you sell, or are you like a jack of all trades? Do you prefer to specialize in something, or are you literally just a case of
Nah,
if you think it'll make money, then
yeah, anything. If there's profit in it, I'll sell it.
yeah, that's what I like to hear. I mean, I hear a lot of people like to niche down and specialize in one thing, but I think in this day and age, you should if it makes money, then I think you should sell it.
Yeah.
So, you
The
said you
more
sell
you
on eBay,
sell,
but
yeah.
yeah, go on. Sorry.
Now, the more you buy and sell, the bigger chance you've got of finding something when you're out in the wild. Whereas if you
Yeah,
niche down,
totally,
say
totally.
you just do computer games, if you don't see any computer games, that's it, game over.
Pardon the pun. Branch out into any other sectors. So I think, have you got a shop or something?
Uh, yeah, I've got so in Exeter, there's a place called Exeter Trading Hub, and it's basically a big building. It's got 2 floors, and there's loads of stalls there, and you rent out a stall, and they run it for you. So I ain't got to
Okay,
be
yeah.
there. I just got to go there and restock every week or two and clean up.
All right, yeah. So it's kind of like an emporium type thing.
Yeah.
Cool. So you work mainly out of a unit, don't you? What are the costs of doing that?
So it's a give or take is about 2,000 square foot, and it only cost me 700 a month all in. But when the reason it was so cheap, because there's others in the same area for like literally like next door as well, for like 1,500. but this one was cheap because it was literally just like a giant shed. So it's just concrete floor, concrete walls, metal ceiling. There was no electrics in there, no lights. The shutter door needed repairing, pipes needed repairing, washing machine, tumble dryer needed installing, doors needed fixing. It needed a lot of work for it to
Yeah. So
be
you kind
ready
of
to
got a bit.
work out with.
You got a bit of a bargain then for that place, considering the cost of other sort of units and that. But you had to do it a bit of a fixer upper.
Yeah, but it's all ready now. Everything's been done and dusted. So
Yeah, I
now it's
see.
just 700 a month.
Yeah, it's not bad. I see from your YouTube channel. It looks quite nice in there. Didn't you originally share it with Joe from Closet Geek?
Yeah, so I had a wall built right down the middle of it to
Yeah,
separate us. But now Joe's gone, I took the wall down again.
yeah. That's a shameless plug as well. We've got Joe on next week, so I'm sure we'll have a conversation or two about that. But so did you outgrow your home, or did you just literally take the plunge into like renting a unit to enable yourself to grow? So did you outgrow your home, or did you get the space to grow before you'd got grown, so to speak?
Yeah, so I started on my bedroom floor and I just had a few of them cheap plastic like storage drawers you can get.
Yeah,
So I started off with one of them, filled that, then got two, then three, and so on until like, for example, see this wall here
yeah,
in my old room, I would have them stacked from the floor all the way along, and then I balanced them on top, done another layer, and then another layer all the way to the ceiling.
yeah,
So one wall was just filled with storage drawers. Then
yeah,
I was on the top. I had stuff on the top of the stairs, in the front room. I then had a little storage shed which I bought, put that in the garden, filled that up. Then I've rented out a a bedroom in the shared house.
yeah,
I used it as an office instead
yeah,
of a bedroom. And when I got that, I thought, oh, great, I'm going to be here for a long time. Within months, I completely filled that, and then I think I passed my driving test not long after that, and then I went from there to a storage unit. But that was the storage unit. Obviously, is no electric,
yeah,
so every day I had to drive down, pick everything I want to list, bring it back home, list it, take it all the way back down, pack it away, and then the same. If anything sold, I had to go down to the unit, grab everything, bring it back home, pack it, and it was a nightmare. So
yeah,
that's when I got in touch with. We started talking, me and Joe. Um, we went in on. So we first met by getting a storage auction unit together. We teamed up on it. And then we went from there to we moved into the office together.
yeah,
That was that was like 500 a month plus 160 pound a month business rates. But it wasn't that big.
yeah,
We outgrew that pretty quick. And then we went in together on the warehouse. And then we outgrew that because obviously it was just split right down the middle.
yeah,
We outgrew both of our halves, and then Jill found a new place in Bude. He
yeah,
moved there. I took the wall down, and I took on this warehouse I've got now.
yeah.
But it
So
didn't happen overnight.
yeah, it's always a problem, isn't it? You when you outgrow the space that you're in and you get slightly bigger and you think, oh, that'll be fine, and you don't realize just how quick you outgrow it. Um, like
Yeah,
like my room that I work from at home at the moment, I'm slowly starting to outgrow that, and I know if I go and get a storage unit, I'll end up outgrowing that. That used to happen to me as well. It's like every 2 months I was having to move all my stock to a bigger unit because I was always running out of room. So yeah, can totally understand the running out of room side of things.
Have you ever watched a program called Salvage Hunters?
I don't think so. No.
Well, they buy and sell like antiques and that.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
Drew and T are the people in it, if that rings a bell.
No. Is it an American show?
No, it's an English one.
Oh, okay. Then no, I don't think I've watched it. To be honest, I don't really watch
Uh,
much telly these days.
There's a part on there where he says, no matter how big of a space you got, you will grow into it. And I never understood what he meant until it's happened to me. So every space I take on, it looks massive before you move in. And I think, oh, this is going to last me years. No more moving around. I can stay settled. And then within like this, some spaces, within weeks, I've rammed it. And then like this warehouse, Joe moved out. I took on the whole space and I thought, right, that's me done for years. But already now it's rammed floor to ceiling.
Yeah.
Can't move in there. Already need a bigger space.
You must have been happy when Joe moved out, and then you thought, "Oh, I've got all this extra space," and then you filled it up
Yeah, for
basically.
about a month.
Yeah. So you said that you've not got a shop, but you got a space in like an emporium. What does that cost you a month?
That is 120 a month
Yeah,
plus 5% commission. So anything that sells, they take 5%.
yeah. And do you make like decent money from it? Is it like really worth, or is it just something that when you've got something that you probably don't feel it deserves to go on eBay, but it will be easier to put it in the shop? Is that the reason for it, or does it actually give a good turnover?
There's a bit of both really. So I'm on the second floor and I find not many people bother going on the second floor,
Yeah,
but like I was on a waiting list for I think 8 months before I got the place. Um, and I'm on the waiting list again to go downstairs
yeah,
because that's where all the traffic is.
yeah.
And so on the second floor, all things considered, I think I do all right, and it averages about 150 a week. Some weeks it can do like I've had a week where I've done I think 600 in 1 week.
That's not bad.
But so really it's like extra storage. So if I ain't got room at the warehouse for stuff, I'll just take it to the shop, pull it in there.
Yeah, and then if it sells there, then it's a bonus.
Yeah. But it's also a bit I struggle with is not knowing whether I should put something on eBay or in the shop
Yeah,
because obviously anything you put on eBay you can get top whack for. But
yeah.
in the shop, obviously I ain't getting eBay prices in the shop. So
No,
you
but
gotta learn
sometimes taking a little
what
bit less
sells.
and not having to worry about the hassle of fees and posting is worthwhile.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's it.
So what did your family think about you doing reselling? Like, how does it affect them? Do they support you with it, or do they find it annoying? Like my wife, even though she supports me, it drives her mad. All my stock in the house all the time. Like I've taken the spare bedroom and I've got what used to be the dining room as now my office. So even though she supports me, it drives her mad.
I'm well, family is in like family, like
Yeah. So
parents
like,
and
I mean, girlfriend, wife, mum, dad, and anyone like that, like, do they support you with it, or do they think that you're crazy for doing it and wasting your time? Or
no, I don't really we're not really a close-knit family, so we don't really talk that often.
okay, no,
But
that's fine.
they're they think I'm doing well and what do you call it? Yeah, there's no issue basically.
Yeah,
Like
so it's not like my wife that was always nagging me in the ear about stuff floating all around the place and everything. They're all pretty cool with what you do and stuff, basically. Yeah, so
my
that leads
missus
me
is
on.
supportive.
Pardon?
My missus is supportive.
Yeah, that's all that matters, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
As long as the other
she
half is
understands
supportive,
it's my
then
dream,
yeah, the dream to be
but
the
I
millionaire.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, you're
But
on
I'll
your
never
way.
switch off.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, so we were talking the other day, and you said that you've got a son with autism. How does that
Yeah.
affect your work? Does he come in and does he help you, or do you have to like schedule time off of work to be with him?
He doesn't come in and help. He hates it. Like, I'll take him in the warehouse sometimes and attempt it, but he just hates being there. He's non-verbal, so he's 8 years old. He don't talk,
Yeah,
so he's delayed and he doesn't understand things. So as for helping, there's nothing he could do to help. Um, when I've got him, which is Friday till Sunday every week, and then if he's off school, it'll be Friday till Monday. Um, and during holidays, I may have like an extra day or two here and there on top of that. And when I've got him, there's literally nothing I can do. All I can do is limited things
yeah,
on my phone. So like
yeah, yeah.
respond to messages or complete drafts, but I can't like go to work and like pack orders or list stuff because I need to keep him entertained. He needs my full attention.
No, yeah, I understand. I look after my brothers who one of the parts of their condition was autism. So yeah, I can completely appreciate that. They were non-verbal as well. But yeah, it's good on you that you take the responsibility and put him first above your business. I
Yeah.
respect that. So
My
is there any
eldest son, I've
pardon?
had him work for me. My eldest,
Oh yeah.
I've had him work for me a few times, but I don't think it was for him.
I'll get the little one helping me sometimes, and yeah, sometimes she likes like when we go out buying, she loves buying stuff, but yeah, she's not really keen on helping me with other things. Yeah, so is there anything you regret doing before you started your reselling journey?
Um, yeah, leaving my normal job.
What, you regret leaving your normal job?
No, I regret not leaving.
Oh, not leaving. No, yeah.
Yeah,
What did you do
because
before
I was
reselling?
doing well. I've always done reselling for like on and off for like 17 years, so I've always been working as well as doing reselling.
Yeah,
So, and even when I turned it into a business, I was doing my business full time and a job full time.
yeah,
And I was just too scared to leave my job, my real job,
yeah,
to do this full time.
yeah.
And
It
that
is
went on for
quite a scary
years.
thing.
Yeah, because it was my safety net. Like it was a guaranteed income.
Yeah, totally.
Even though my eBay business outweighed my job like tenfold, I was just thinking, oh, but what if it's just a good period? But this went on for years. And then
Yeah.
eventually I handed in my notice and then retracted it. And then I stayed at the job for, I don't know, maybe another 6 months. And then my bosses, I went in the office for something, I can't remember what. And the bosses was in there and they said, so here's a bit of paper, write your notice. And I was like, what? And they was like, write your notice. And I was, oh, all right. They weren't doing it to be horrible. They was just trying to give me that push.
Yeah.
And they said, like, if ever I need to take my job back, they will always take me back.
Yeah. Well, that was
So
always just good to know.
yeah, so I've written it out again. But because I've been there 12 years, the job in the contract it said you have to give a week's notice for every year you've been there. So
Oh
when I'm
yeah.
writing my con my oh what do you call it? Writing it out to say my notice. So when
Yeah.
I was writing my notice out, they said, so how long you been here? And I was like, 12 years. And he was like, well, you gotta give 12 weeks notice. So even though I handed my notice in, I still had 3 months to wait
Yeah,
until I could leave. But
yeah,
luckily, I just kept getting my shifts covered until um, eventually I was out of there. And that was like 2 years ago, and I've never
yeah,
looked back.
yeah.
But and I've grown
Definitely.
so much since then. So
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
why I wish I left my job years ago, and I could be way further ahead than what I am now.
yeah, I mean, a lot of people are scared to that do it part time are scared to leave, and sometimes you have to take that leap of faith. Just quickly
Yeah.
before we go on, I have seen there's a few questions in the chat, guys. I will bring up the questions after I finished my questions. So yeah, if you want to keep putting your questions in the chat, I will get back to you guys, and we will ask them and answer them. Yeah. So anyway, so um, oh, I've lost where I was now. Okay, yeah. So we spoke a little bit before about your YouTube channel name. It's called Recovered Riches. Could you tell us why it's called that? You said it's got like a double meaning for you.
Yeah. Do you have any guesses?
Yeah. Well, I know because you told me, obviously. But yeah, if anyone wants to have a quick guess in the chat, no, I don't think anyone wants to have a guess.
Right. So the double meaning recovered riches, recovered because I'm a recovering addict, and then riches is because I come from nothing. I had no money, been bankrupt twice, um, come from the gutter basically. So it's like rags to riches.
Yeah, so the name kind of gives you motivation to push on and
Yeah.
completely change your life around, which is what you're doing, which is really good.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah. So
Going back to actually, sorry, going
yeah,
back to what do my family think of this? That's one thing they are amazed by is how I've managed to turn my life around to what it is now because of reselling.
yeah, exactly. I mean, a lot of people when you say to them, "Oh, I'm a reseller," and you sort of have to explain to them, and they're like, "Oh, well, that's not a very good job," and then they don't realize that the kind of freedom that you get and the potential that you can turn it into. There's like so many people out there that started doing reselling part time, and like you, for example, like six-figure resellers, and they. I think when you say you sell on eBay to people, they naturally assume you just sell like the odd bit of junk online. They don't realize that it actually goes to a proper business if you push it. So
Yeah.
usually get like a lot of family members like quite shocked, especially when you turn around and you tell them what you're earning and how many hours a week you do to do that. Like my previous job that I had was an extremely well paid job. I was 50 plus K a year, but I was having to put in 60 plus hours a week. I think I was working 6 days a week to earn that. Whereas I'm not necessarily earning that much now, but I probably only work a quarter of those hours, and I'd much rather take a lesser income and have more time for my family and everything rather than getting paid loads of money and regretting having it, so to speak.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So we'll move on to what I call phase two questions. So these are sort of more personal questions about you rather than your reselling business. So we'll start off with what do you think your biggest flaw is? And don't say your kitchen.
Um, I've got an addictive personality. So if I buy something, for example, and it sells quick, I then think, right, I need 1 million of these things. So I'll go out and just buy so many of them and get obsessed over it. And then they end up not selling. And it turns out I just got lucky on that first one. But because of my addictive personality, I've
Yeah,
become absolutely obsessed with it. Or if I'm watching YouTube videos and I see other people saying, "Oh, pick these up, these sell," before I've even tried it for myself, I'm out there buying as many as I can get my hands on.
yeah.
And then it just turns out I personally can't sell that item.
See, you can look at that as a flaw, but you could flip that as a positive as well. That I'm a firm believer of learning from your mistakes. So you need to make the mistake to learn from it. So even though you're seeing that as a flaw, it could be you could see it as a positive because you're making that mistake and then you're learning from it because you learn not to do that again in future. I get a lot of people that like say to me, don't do something, and I won't listen to them, and I'll go and do it, and it'll be a mistake, and they'll go, I told you so, and I'll be like, yeah, that's fine, but now I know not to do it. I've taught myself not to do it by doing it. So I guess it's just how you want to look at it, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how do you cope when you're having like a bad week, whether it's like bad week business or just in general? What sort of things do you do to try and mellow yourself out?
I don't. I just pure panic.
Fair enough. Just see
Um,
the panic
I've
through.
got Connor who works for me, and
Yeah,
he knows what I'm like, and he talks about the facts, and he helps chill me out, settle me
yeah.
down, and
That's
just
good. I mean,
explains that everything sorts itself out in the end. I've been doing
yeah,
this years, and I'm still here.
yeah, exactly. That's good. If you've got like people around you that can help talk you, well, not talk you down, but can help calm you down and everything, then yeah, it's always good. It's always nice to have like a knit select of people that know what you're like and know how to help you when you're having a bad time or anything. So yeah, that's cool. If you could have a conversation over coffee or food with anyone living or dead, who would it be and why?
It would be my older brother who died.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
That's all right.
Is that
He
just
was
because?
just a massive
Sorry, yeah, go on. Sorry.
he was just a massive role model in my life,
Yeah.
and it's something I've never got over. I don't think I ever will get over.
No, I don't. I don't think it's the type of thing that you should get over. Really, you should never feel sorry or bad that you continuously miss someone that's passed. So yeah, I think that's a really good answer to that question. You get a lot of people that go, I want to meet this famous person or that famous person, but just spending some time with a gone loved one, I think, is a really good
Yeah,
answer to that question. Okay,
that's
so
what this is.
oh, is it?
On my, it says in love and memory of Shane. So
Okay,
that, and it's got angel wings and a cross.
yeah.
That there is for my brother.
Oh, that's good. It's always have remembrance on. So yeah. Um, right. So last question before we'll move on to some guest questions. What's one thing that you do on a regular basis that you hate doing, but nobody knows that you despise doing it? That's a tough one. That.
Yeah, I had to think about it, but then it was there all along, and it's dropping parcels off. Reason
Oh,
being,
yeah,
because I have so many all the time, the shops can't accept every single one I take in. Like I'll
yeah,
literally turn up with my van full. So I have to go around like 3 or 4 different places. And each time my anxiety has gone through the roof, like, oh, are they going to actually take them? Or,
yeah,
and it depends who's working. Sometimes you can go in and they're like straight up, they just get angry. Like I'm there with all these parcels. And it's like,
yeah.
if you don't want to take them, why have you signed up to be a
Yeah,
drop off
exactly.
point?
That's always been my argument. I have that exact same problem. Like, especially places like that accept DPD parcels where they can be 60 by 60 by 60, and you take them in, and they're like, "We're not taking that; it's too big." And you're like,
Yeah.
"Why are you accepting parcels? Then you can't accept parcels." And then to yeah, it does my head in. Like literally around my area, I've had to find what shops will take what parcels from me, and oh yeah, it's a nightmare. I remember when I first moved to Southampton, because obviously I'm originally from London, and I had to find all these new places that would take the parcels. So yeah, I can fully appreciate the stress of that.
One of as well, like I would say like 6 months ago, no word will lie. I found this new drop-off point, so I started going there. And then after a few weeks, it was like, right, we're not doing this no more. We've turned the service off. Like we're not accepting parcels from anyone.
Yeah.
And I thought, all right, no worries. So I found a new one. Started filling them up. And would you believe it? They turned around and said, yeah, sorry, we're not going to be doing this anymore. And they shut shop. And I was like, what? Went to a third one, same thing happened again. That got me thinking, is it me? Am I just like
Yeah,
overfilling them?
you're
And they're
just
like, oh,
annoying.
stop this.
Have you thought about getting like an account with a courier firm where they come and collect them from you?
Yeah, so I had that with Hermes. So
Yeah,
they're every now, but they were called um Hermes. And I had a business account. That was actually really good. Like I could post when I had the business account, I could post like between 10 and 15 kilogram parcels and get them collected for like 4 quid.
yeah,
But
that's nice. Yeah,
it got to a point where they just, when you go business, so your regular um, person on that route that always collects, once you go business, they change the person, and then that new person just forever wasn't turning up or saying they've attempted to turn up when they haven't, and it was just hassle. So I got rid of that, and no, I didn't. Sorry, I fell below the limit by a few parcels per quarter.
yeah,
Was me. So I changed that, and I went Parcel Force, open a business account with Parcel Force, and they set me up. It was a long-winded process, but we got there in the end. They set me up to collect every day at a certain time. Pardon me. And they said they can do it for, I think it was like £4.97 a parcel because I was sending that many, and they're a collector every day. So I was like, oh, ideal. So I started doing that, and then they like the driver for that. Once you go business again, it changes to a different driver.
yeah,
So I was having the same issues again. They weren't turning up, or they were saying they did turn up when they didn't, and I was forever on the phone trying to like chase it up. And then after all that, there's hidden charges which they don't tell you about. So that £4.97 or whatever it was, um, they ended up like you get VAT on top of that. Whereas before you would get told the VAT charge beforehand, like if you
yeah,
go on Parcel Go or whatever, it would pre-warn you all this, but they didn't. And so over the phone and when they was emailing me, it was just one number. There was nothing about VAT. So I thought that was just already included within the price. So then that was an additional charge. And then there was a fuel charge. And then if your boxes aren't square, you get a charge for that. If you use too much tape, you get charged for that. And there was another charge as well. I can't remember the other charge. And then you don't pay as you're booking it. It's just a once a month bill.
yeah,
So you have no idea what you've spent because there's nothing anywhere that's telling you, right, this is what your bill is so far. So it's almost impossible for you to keep track of it. So I come off of that, and now I use Royal Mail Parcel Force still, but I do drop off.
Yeah,
So I drop it off there for like, I think it's like £6 or something. Um, and then I've started using Royal Mail Collect because it's the same price as a um, small parcel. So Royal Mail collect 48 and they collect it from me for like £2.85, depending on the size.
yeah.
No, not £2.85. £5.95. And then I use Yodo. And then if it's like golf clubs and that, I use Every.
Fair enough. Right, let's get some questions that I've seen come up in the chat. So we'll start off with this one. So Bill and Moons asks, how many listings does Stacey have on eBay?
I will let you know right now.
He's going to give you an exact number.
So as it stands right now, there is 3,747 active.
There you go. So pushing 4,000 listings. Sorry, I'm just going through the chat, trying to keep up. Here you go. Chris Tyler says, has Stacey sold the 4-poster bed he put together? I think it was Oriental. Was that the £20,000 bed?
12,000.
12.
Yeah, no, it's not a lot of room, so I dismantled it.
Yeah.
So it's still available for sale if you want to buy it.
Yeah. Maybe that's why he's asking.
Yeah.
All right, so we got Fix It for Reselling says, what's your biggest profit on one item? Is that for both of us or is that just for you? I'll let Stacey answer that. And
Um. Oh, that's a tough one
yeah,
because I've
that's
done
why
it
I
for
said
so
you can answer
long.
it.
I can't remember. I can tell you my favorite one. So what started this off at the very beginning is I was at a car boot and I picked up a Coca-Cola button um, sign about 12 inches,
Yeah.
and it was from '96. I paid £1 for it. I put it in auction. This is like I had no clue about reselling. I put it in well, I had a little bit because I dabbled in it, but nothing like second hand. I was buying brand new stuff before. Anyway, I paid £1 for it. I put it in auction and it went for £68.
Yeah, see,
So
it's
that's
like
my favorite one.
a lot of people when they ask you what's your favorite sale, they're usually quite shocked when most of us will turn around and go, oh, I paid like £1 for something and it sold for like 60. They're expecting us to go, I paid like £50 for blah blah and it sold for thousands. But usually it's the little £1 sales that really surprise you. I think probably my best ever sale that I done was something similar to that. I went into it was just a single charity shop, so it wasn't like a branch one. And I picked up a decanter. I can't remember the person it was, but I paid about £2 for it, and I ended up finding out when I got home it was worth about 120 quid. And that's probably one of my best pickups that I've ever done. And I've picked up things for like more money and sold for more than that. But I just that one always sticks in my head
Yeah,
as one of my best sales. And
just remembered one actually. So I would say, off the top of my head, biggest profit. Me and Jill done like a sort of like a house clearance at this old lady's house because she was
yeah,
moving house and she wanted to downsize and get rid of a lot of stuff. And I think her husband might have passed away, so there was a load of his stuff there, and he had a problem where he kept buying stuff. Like
like
part of
us,
his
you
illness meant
mean?
he kept buying stuff. And she had a basement underneath the house, like they do in America.
Yeah,
And we went in there, you had to duck down and that. There was spider webs everywhere. It was rough. And there was loads of tubs in there. And it was a £5 a tub. And me and Joe just done like to me, to you. So like one for you, one for me. And we must have had it for like a month or 2 months before I actually looked in some of these tubs, and there was like an old RC car from the 70s. I think it was like a Porsche, but it was literally just the base and wheels. It might have had an engine on it, but that's all there was. So it owes me a fiver, and it sold fast for 1,200.
Wow. Yeah.
That was a quick sale as well, like overnight sale.
Yeah, that's definitely a good sale.
Yeah.
Right, I had to read this one several times because where it says tats, I thought they were referring to my Dan's a lot of tat, but after I run it through my head, I think they're talking about you and your tats. So they basically put, I'd love to know the story behind your tats as your image and your personality don't match, as you seem a very placid lad.
Never judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm not as tattooed as you, but I'm smothered in tattoos as well. So
So basically, when I was 16, I went in and got my first ever tattoo. I had no plans ever in my life to be covered in tattoos. I don't even think I had plans to get a tattoo. But my older brother, he died, and then when I was 16, I got my very first tattoo, and it was his name down my forearm. And oh my God, I instantly become addicted. 2 days later, I was booked in again to get another tattoo on my other arm, and it was a snowball effect.
yeah, I
And now
can
I'm covered
fully.
head to toe.
Yeah, I mean, I've got both my arms from my shoulders down to my wrists, and both my legs from my knees down to my ankles done. I don't really put tattoos on parts of me that you can't see. But I was exactly the same. My first tattoo was a seaside tattoo. I think everybody that gets a tattoo needs a seaside tattoo. I was in Blackpool and I had a little Chinese symbol done on my arm, which is now gone. I've got a big venom on my arm now. But yeah, I had that done, and I was the same. I was immediately hooked, and the only thing that stops me not having tattoos now is my tattoo artist lives in Essex, and I live in Southampton. So
Yeah, I'm proper obsessed with tattoos. At the beginning, I'll be going to shop all the time, buying the tattoo magazines, subscribing to them, just become absolutely obsessed. Watching like tattoo programs on telly, recording
yeah,
every episode.
I can't remember what it was called. Was it called Miami Ink? Did you ever watch that?
Yeah,
Yeah, I used to love watching Miami Ink. Every time I watched it, I was like, right down the tattoo parlor. I need another tattoo.
yeah. Is that still on?
um, no idea to be honest.
It was on D-Max, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Back in the day.
yeah, I think it was. It used to be on just normal Discovery before they started expanding.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a interesting one. So I'm a new reseller, been in the game for a year, small but from home. At what point did you decide to go big with a warehouse, and that did you get to the point where outgrowing, or did you just go for it? I think we covered this a little bit earlier on in the show, but in case they missed it, do you want to tell them again?
So yeah, I started from my bedroom and I slowly, well, I'll say slowly, it was quite fast, outgrew that, then got another, I rented a room out in a shared house just to use as an office, outgrew that, went to a storage unit, outgrew that, went to an office, outgrew that, went to a warehouse. Now I've outgrown that, I need more space again. So yeah, I didn't just go straight for the warehouse, I built up to it.
Yes. See, if I can put in my two pence, when you start out reselling, I don't mean to shamelessly plug this, but I literally have just made a video on how to become a eBay reseller in 2023 on my channel, so go check it out. But basically, don't run before you can walk, because all you'll end up doing is you'll get stuck into a rut, and want to stop doing it. So you need to grow and progress as you do, just as it happens. If it happens quickly, it happens quickly. If it happens slowly, it happens slowly. The only type of people that can go from nothing to everything really quickly are people that have the capital, and most of us are not doing that. So I'd say just grow as you feel you're growing. If you feel like your the space that you're in is too small, then move up a step and just do it gradually, as Stacey done. Basically, there's just no point going from small all the way to massive and then trying to fill the space up. Personally, but that's just my 2 cents.
I'll trust the process.
Exactly, yeah. If your business is going to grow, it'll grow. It'll just naturally happen. You sort of, you can push it. You can push your business to grow, but it will, in the beginning, it will just grow at its own pace. So don't try and force anything unless you're willing to take the risk. Is what I'd say. Right, we got one from Sam. So, question for the legend. I assume that's not me. Where does a six-figure YouTube reseller star go from here? Obviously, seven figures. But what do you see the biggest roadblock is, and how do you plan to overcome it? That's a good question, Sam.
Um,
That's a tough one to answer, isn't it? Off of the
yeah,
fly.
hanging out with the rich and famous, obviously.
I think that's everyone's goal, isn't it? To be hanging out with the rich and famous.
I honestly don't know. I wouldn't say there is a block for me. Like I've, I've so VAT was the last barrier for me. Next, I want a bigger warehouse. I want like at some stage in my life, I would like to have like minimum of like 10 people working for me. Just I want to grow massively. So I don't know if you know the shop called The Range.
No, I don't think so.
Don't know if they're up where you are, but in Plymouth there's a shop called The Range, and it's like a B&M sort of
Okay.
like that,
Yeah.
and it's run by someone called Chris Dawson, and he's on the rich list now. He's from Plymouth originally. He started off with a little market stall, and he's now like a billionaire, and on the rich list. So I always joke around. I say joke, I'm being serious, but it's funny. Um, I'm gonna make I'm gonna become the next Chris Dawson. I want to make him look small.
Yeah, that's
So
probably the goal that he had, wasn't it? So you
yeah. And he started off with a little market stall in Plymouth, and now
yeah,
he's a billionaire.
it's
So
all
he's
about
my
you.
idol. That's who I look up to.
Yeah, that's a good. Competition is. I know a lot of people say competition's bad, but sometimes competition's good, and
Gives you
if
the
you've got
drive.
if you've got the drive to push past that competition, then the sky's the limit, really. Right. Okay. I don't think there's any more questions. I'm just having
With me.
a quick check through, but I think that was all the questions. So we'll get on to the last part of the show, which I'm sure everybody is waiting for, is would I lie to you? So you need to tell us you've pre-arranged a story, haven't you? You've got a story already. And
Yeah.
we need to decide whether you're telling the truth or whether you've made it up and it's all a load of porcupines.
Right. Um. So.
Oh, hold on. Before you do that, Sam said, "Give us your best northern accent."
I'm awful at accents. I don't know what they sound like. Um, I can't even attempt it. I'll let you do it.
um, God, how do northern people sound? You're right, mate.
Exactly.
How you doing? I'm from up north. I don't know. I probably just
Hey,
insulted a
God,
load of
please.
Northerners. Sam, when you're on in a few weeks' time, I'm going to get you to give me your best Northern accent. So start practicing. Right. So anyway, back to the game. If you want to tell us your story.
Yeah, so oh, I've been wondering all day whether to even say this,
Oh dear.
but so mine is about how I got started in reselling.
Yeah.
Um, so about I must have been about 20, and oh, right. I went prison when I was 20, and I was in there for a couple of years. And when I was in prison, I came up with like a business plan. So you got a lot of time to think when you're in jail. So when I was in there, I was trying to think of what I want to do and how I can do it when I get out. So I I thought about because I've always watched Only Fools and Horses.
Yeah.
So I thought I know that's a TV program and it's fake, but I thought if they can do it, like there's got to be people out there that actually do it. So I'll try it. And I've gone to car boots and that previously, and I thought, right, I'll just when I get out, I'm going to start buying to resell, and then maybe one day in the future, I'll have a business out of that. And then here I am today.
That's a very interesting story. Has anybody got any questions on the story at all? Someone's just come up straight with true. So we're not going to ask. We're not going to ask any questions about the story. I've got one. Why did you end up in prison?
I don't really want to talk too much about it, but it was to do with violence. But obviously, I'm a recovering addict. I used to be a completely different person to who I am today. So I'm not that same person, and I never want to be that person again.
Yeah,
I've literally had to, over years, build myself up to be this completely new person.
yeah,
So anyone who knows me from years ago, if they was to meet me now, they would think, "What? Different person." Especially with my appearance, like
yeah,
someone said earlier, it doesn't match my personality,
yeah.
but I used to be a different person, if that makes sense.
Okay, so I think the best question that we can ask here to decide on whether it is true or false was what Only Fools and Horses episode was it that gave you the inspiration?
All of them.
right,
I
right,
buy in
that's it. I'm saying it's false. It's a lie. It's a lie. No, yeah, go on, keep
anyone
going.
else.
No, I'd like to say it's false, but I got a feeling that it's true. Anyone else want to ask any questions before Stacey lets us know if it's false or true?
Only one person so far.
Yeah,
They've probably
everyone's
all
just
logged off now.
they've
They
just all
think,
got
"Oh, what a
mesmerised.
scumbag."
So what have we got here? I love the story behind you, mate. Learned a lot about you tonight. Respect changing your life around. That's a
Appreciate it.
very nice comment.
2 people have said true so far.
Yeah, I think Sam's still trying to rehearse for his northern accent for a couple of weeks' time. So he's probably yeah, you're right, mate. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
You ready?
Okay. So what was your best episode from Only Fools and Horses then?
I would say the one where Trigger is talking about he's had the same broom for 20 years, but has had like X amount of new heads, X amount of new handles. And then Del Boy says, well, that's not the same brush then. And he goes, yeah, it is. Look, I've got a picture of it right here. Or the one when he goes on holiday and he meets a gangster that looks identical to him, but he doesn't realize that that gangster exists. So people are out to try and kill him, thinking he's the gangster.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I'm going for true. The story was true.
Everyone seems to be saying that.
Yeah.
It's false.
Ah. Oh, do you know what? I called it, but everyone was saying it was true, and I had to go with everyone. But yeah, that was brilliant.
I didn't think I would get that. I was trying my hardest not to laugh and trying my hardest not to make it obvious that I was reading off a bit of paper.
Oh, well, that's a great one to start off with the reseller lives. We had a proper liar on our hands. What's that? Never like you said, never judge it. I think I may have misread what that was meant to say, but yeah. So anyway, I don't actually think I've got any more questions or anything. We're a little bit longer than I said we were going to be. I said it would be about half an hour, but we've hit the hour mark, so it was probably worthwhile doing it a little bit earlier. But yeah,
Yeah,
thank you for coming on, Stacey, and
thank you for inviting me.
wish you nothing but success in your business. And been quite enjoying watching your YouTube channel. You've been inspiring me. I've started doing auctions and stuff now. There's yeah, I'm trying to think outside the box. So, is there anything you want to say before we go?
Yeah, subscribe to my channel.
Yeah, make sure you subscribe to Recovered Riches. And on that note, I will catch everybody later. So, see you later, everyone.
See you later.